mute or silent. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everyone, welcome to our episode 4 of our Mic'd Up podcast, live on Mic'd Up 416 on YouTube and on Facebook, Sufi Council of Toronto, Makkah Islamic Center. And today we're actually live on Ilm City as well from the UK, Hafiz Asif and the entire team. We thought, we coexist with them as well because they've been such great hosts and brothers. So we're live on that channel as well. So we want to welcome our viewers from the UK tuning in on Ilm City, as we're also live on Sufi Council of Toronto on YouTube. And I'm your host, Umar Qadri. Just to go over some of the formalities like we do every episode, please visit wherever you're watching, whatever channel you're watching, just to show some love and support. Our YouTube channel at Mic'd Up 416 on YouTube. So please, it's also on the flyer. Please go onto our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe and bell icon, just so you can get familiar with and notifications in regards to some of the events that will be coming up, inshallah. So thank you very much for joining. Also, Instagram, Mic'd Up 416 on Instagram, Sufi Council of Toronto on all of the platforms, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So show some love and support. That's our umbrella organization. And we're live here at the Makkah Islamic Center in Scarborough, 3234 Eglinton Avenue East, live with episode 4. A lot of individuals, a lot of brothers, as well as sisters actually, have been messaging to talk about this and then this issue that's plaguing Islam. So we thought we would push that forward and bring in our panel, which I'm going to introduce to you in a second. So Sufi cults is the topic. Thank you. Topic for today. Sufi cults is the topic, and we're going to talk a lot about a lot of things in between and in and around what Sufism is and who's kind of destroying the name of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and we're going to do that. So I'm going to turn it over to my guests, my panel today. Over to my right, Hafiz Yahya, back as well for the second podcast. Assalamu alaikum, Hafiz Ab.
Wa alaikum assalam, Hazrat, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for correcting me as well about the topic, so appreciate that. Welcome. And directly sitting in front of me, my elder brother, back by popular demand. A lot of people missed him after the first 2 episodes. Janab Muhtaram Amir Qadri Saab, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, Hafiz Yahya.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So we're going to jump right into it. A lot of people have been asking about this. First and foremost, thank you guys once again for joining. Sufi cults. You know, there's a lot of things that have been plaguing plaguing Islam in general. And a lot of people have been looking at it. Look at these people, look what they're doing, and this and that. So we're going to get into it. First, I want to just throw it out there. What is Sufism? So let's start with there first, because people think it's an actual sector of Islam, which is far from the truth. So let's start there. What is Sufism?
Sufism is a Islamic science that is needed side by side with, alongside with Sharia. Sufism, the term Sufi, comes from 2 terminologies. The ulama say the first explanation is as-sufa, meaning the people of the bench. The first saf, meaning the people of salah.
MashaAllah.
And that is referring to the Sahabas.
Okay.
The other term Sufi means suf, meaning wool, because of modesty of what they were used to wear.
Mashallah.
And these are the people of course, respected humility and people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah. So Hafiz Saab, when you think Sufism, so what comes to mind?
To me, it's a really simple, you could say one-liner, is that someone who has mastered their desires, because
MashaAllah.
that's what it is at the end of the day. It's all that science, that deep knowledge to gain closer. But how do you gain, close? How do you become closer to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala? Is through, limiting your wants and focusing on your needs.
MashaAllah.
Right.
MashaAllah. That's so. When I think of Sufism, it's a way to get closer to Allah and His Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
The Sharia implies basically not to lie.
True.
Tasawwuf, which is Sufism,
Yep. Yep.
will not have even that ability to come in your mind again.
Subhanallah.
That practice
Mm-hmm.
of getting closer to the Sharia.
Yeah.
Another word, like say a ghair mahram, looking at another sister that is not from your household or anyone from who is ghair, a lady, a stranger. Sometimes people have the habit of looking at them.
Mhm.
Sharia says you cannot look.
Mm.
Put your eyes down.
Gaze is low.
Gazes down.
Yeah.
Tasawwuf gives you that ability
Mm-hmm.
to not even look in that direction.
So is it safe to say is that Sharia tells you what's right and wrong? Sufism makes you hate the sin.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
hate the sin.
That's one way you can look at it.
Hate
Yeah.
the sin. To learn how to hate. So when you can't even go into that direction, like you said, like not to look at this or not to commit sin or whatever. Hate that sin so much and devote yourself.
Anything
in the
that gets
worship of
closer
Allah.
to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Devotion.
Devotion, love, muhabbat, loving the deen, anything getting closer to the deen.
Right.
Not being ignorant, not being selfish, hating the people who actually hate the deen, but not actually hating the actual individual, hating their concept,
The ideology.
the ideology. Imam Shafi even said that don't hate the sinner, hate the sin.
Yeah. No, very good. So in a nutshell, a lot of people, they send messages and they say, you know what, you guys just are those twirling dervishes and stuff like that when they think of like Maulana Rum. That's the other thing, the misconception. They think Maulana Rum is a poet talking about love, but he's talking about his sheikh. I know Hafiz Saab sent me a funny meme in regards to that. So, these are the misconceptions, but I want to go into, because the nitty gritty, and people often think it's something that people don't want to talk about. Sufism teaches us how to get closer to Allah. Sufism tells you about hating the sin. Good. Now, we have people in our community and other communities that we see, these so-called learned people who calls themselves sheikh. First of all, before we get into that, what is a definition of a sheikh first?
The sheikh means actually a person who is knowledgeable in Islam. Someone that knows at least minimum of 10,000 ahadith is called a sheikh. How many of us keep calling other people sheikh for no reason? Sheikh, sheikh. One sheikh doesn't even know that one isnad of one chain of narration of ahadith Mubarak. Sheikh, how are you doing, sheikh? How are you doing, sheikh? And because he's wearing the libas and he's pretending,
Right.
he's getting to know, he's trying to impress people with how he looks. But our ulama already told us before, and our real sheikhs and Sufis have warned us about this already. In the malfuz of our great Imam Ahmad Rada Fazil Brelvi,
Inshallah.
Raziyallahu ta'ala, he has said, the tool of the shaitan is a fake Sufi.
Wow. But Hafiz Saab, don't we see a lot of this nowadays? So we have a thing. So someone who's a sheikh has to be learned. It's not just about the labas and wearing a jubba and a crown on their head and walking with a cane and looking the part. So what do we see nowadays?
So nowadays you see 20, 30-year-olds on Facebook saying Sheikh fulan fulan, Sheikh so-and-so, right? And going back to what Hazrat just said, is that a sheikh is someone that's wise. That's a little meaning of that word in Arabic, right? A wise person, right? Someone who's mastered that science or whatever they're a sheikh for, right? So you tell me, if you take some 20, 30-year-old who has no experience, no formality, no teachings in the deen, when it comes to the sciences, and all of a sudden now they themselves start calling themselves sheikh.
Yeah.
Right? They're not wise, they're fools, right? Because they might have learned something, but it takes time to apply that onto yourself. And that's another thing, that's another quality of a sheikh, is that whatever they say according to the Sharia, it's practically applied on them first.
MashaAllah.
Right? You won't see that. And going back to what we said even earlier, that Shariat and Tariqat go together.
Yeah.
Right? So you won't see none of this, intermingling and all the things that are red flags that people just blatantly, they choose to ignore, right? But they will be both hand in hand, right? It'd be istiqamah,
yeah,
right? And one of the greatest signs of a sheikh today is istiqamah. It's the greatest miracle of a sheikh.
Absolutely.
Right?
Sayyidina Ali Murtaza radiallahu ta'ala anhu has said, who every sheikh has to have Hazrat Ali Murtaza's lineage, meaning his bloodline, according to his tariqah, has to connect to also to Hazrat Ali Murtaza. Hazrat Ali Murtaza radiallahu ta'ala anhu has said, the one that follows the Sharia only is ignorant. The one that follows tariqah only is a fool. Now, if you look at this, some people, especially like our Salafi brothers, they don't want to get into tariqah, but are slowly trying to get into tariqah. Now they're changing their names. Slowly, first they were called something else. Every millennium they're called something else now. Now they're Salafis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before they were Wahhabis, and they were Najdis, and they were Kharijis. They were known for this, and they were proud to say this, but now they're like ashamed of this. Now they're Salafis, pseudo Salafis, right?
Yeah.
But they know also they need tasawwuf as well, but they're very ignorant. You can look how their behavior is.
Yeah.
Now look at these goofy Sufis.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
Okay, look at these ones now.
Let.
Just following tasawwuf and not sharia.
Yeah.
Look how stupid they are. You can give so many examples of them and what they're doing.
Right. I want to talk about one in general, because the thing is, I don't know who's worse. Is it that so-called Sufi, or is it the people that follow this? So why are people following this? So there's one guy, he comes on and he's like breaking tasbeehs and he's blowing into the mic and telling you to hold your head and stuff like that. Chuf chuf, right? We call him chuf chuf, and he's breaking a tasbeeh and he goes, and he's spitting on the mic and stuff. What is this? Why are the people following this?
Listen, this is a huge cult, and this individual is a tyrant. He's a fasik mu'allan. He's an open transgressor. He may be a transvestite. I don't know. Some person that's sitting on a so-called gaddi, okay, that is not carrying the sunnah of Rasulullah salatu wasalam.
Yeah.
Blowing on the mic. Everyone is putting their hand on their forehead for dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb is nothing wrong with the dumb or what they're doing. It's just look who you're getting the blessings from.
Yeah.
Why do you want to get blessings from someone that can't even help himself?
Yeah.
His murids probably have bigger, it's not about the beard or anything like that. He doesn't even look suitable.
Yeah.
Does he know how to read salah properly? Does he know how to do recitation of the Quran?
Yeah.
Is he allowed to lead salah? He cannot even lead salah.
Can't even, yeah. He's not fulfilling the requirements.
I mean, how is he going to take you to Jannah?
Allahu Akbar.
Meaning, how is he going to be that wasila to help you? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has wasila created for this reason.
Yeah.
Individuals, ulama, salihin, the awliya, these are wasila. In the day of Qiyamah, how is he going to be a wasila for you?
Right.
Who is scared and ashamed of carrying the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Someone who has no ilm.
Yeah. And you often see that, because to your point, where both of you mentioned before this, was that the person has to be learned, so he has to have a certain amount of ilm. Sayyidi ala Hazrat radiyallahu anhu wa rahmatullah alayh said that the person has to be an alim. You can't be a sheikh or a peer.
Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, every wali is an alim, and every alim is a wali. Now look at the tawajjuh on these words now. Every alim is a wali. Meaning the real only ones who are corrected on themselves are awliya, who have to be alims.
For sure.
And every alim is a wali.
Wow.
So if you look at even in the Quran, even chapter 29, verse number 45, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, indeed, salah prohibits immorality and wrongdoings. Just salah.
Right.
The Salaf al-Salihin, the awliya ikram, have read salah 24/7 during their day. How can you go wrong? You can tell by how someone is reading salah and reading their salah and being continuously
Right.
upon the Sharia. How do these Sufis nowadays? And this is not for the we're talking about pseudo Sufism here. I don't want people to get the wrong message here. We're not against Sufism. We're against what's wrong in this world right now with Sufism.
Right.
Okay? We are part of the Sufi Council of Toronto. The reason why we're called Sufi Council of Toronto is when people see us, they be like, you know what? These people are reading their salah. They're doing their zikr. They're giving zakat. They're helping the poor. They're helping anyone that they can. This is the real teaching of Sufis. How many people came up to us already and said, oh, the Sufi Council are Brelvis. Sufi Council is Brelvis. You already divided Sufism. You already divided Sunniism, Sufism already. These people don't want to be taught. They already divided each other of, becoming, ye Maulvi hai. What does that mean? I already told you what Rasul said.
Right.
Every alim is a wali. And every wali is an alim.
Expanding on that, right? Remember in that time, in that era, right, that people used to travel thousands of miles just to learn one hadith.
MashaAllah, of
right?
course, yeah.
And not just that, they would take time to implement that upon themselves.
MashaAllah.
Right? So when Hazrat said that, every alim is a wali, it means they're practicing though.
Yeah.
Not today's modern, you get your 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, certificate of Dars Nizami and bang, you're out on the into the masjids, preaching.
Yeah.
Right? You're an alim from a knowledge perspective,
Yeah.
but you're not a true alim in the sense that you don't have any amal on that.
True.
You just have knowledge and you're just regurgitating that back to the public.
Yeah.
Right? So what Hazrat said here was that, every alim is a wali, yes, but no, we don't want alims thinking here we're all calling them walis, right? Or every alim we see here is a wali. No, you have to implement that knowledge upon you, and that takes time. And look at any story of any famous Sufi, whether it's Maulana Rum, whoever it is, right? They spent the first few years of their life in search of knowledge.
Of course.
Then they isolated themselves to apply that knowledge onto them.
100%.
And then towards the end, they came back and then started the preaching.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how it should work. Right? Otherwise, it's hypocritical.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Because you can preach one thing, but then, as soon as the public is gone, you're doing the exact opposite. I mean, there's no sense of you preaching because it's straight up hypocrisy then.
100%. 100%. You know what? The other thing is, and what I'm going to jump into hearing what you guys have been saying, is the public is so lost. Because if you see that, the same guy like Chuf Chuf, right? He's breaking the tasbih and stuff. And there's thousands of people following him. Why?
They're sleeping. They don't know. I mean, the problem is in Pakistan, in India, and Bangladesh, and our countries, especially where Sunniism, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah is predominant. Okay, and Tasawwuf is apparent everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Meaning there's Khanqahs everywhere, there's Sufism everywhere, Mazarat everywhere. The thing is, people just want to be linked to something. Linked to a Buzurg. Because this is a tradition. It's a culture too. First thing they have to ask, who's your peer? Who's your peer? Respectfully, it's very nice. It's good to understand that. But they don't have knowledge. So these people that are being controlled, and who they're controlling as well, they're controlling people who are from the village. Uneducated people, people who don't have any knowledge, some people who may not even done past grade 10,
right,
or who have not been in the real world, who have never gone out of their village, just amongst themselves.
Right.
So when you see educated people like the ulama now, or scholars, or Western people, when they refute them, you see them now back down. When you have of their followers, ulama on the stage who is practice his Dars Nizami correctly and everything, because he doesn't want to get into all of that as well. He's like, you know what? And I have to refute this sheikh then. I don't want to get into this. So they have their men already.
Mm-hmm.
They have their staged people already.
Mm-hmm.
Layman people who don't know anything. And then that tradition is just passed on by coming by his father. Maybe that gentleman, the chuf, maybe he does come from a khanka, his elders or whatever. But him himself. So if someone's a doctor, does that make him a doctor?
No.
So Data Saab says something very interesting here. Data Saab says the fake Sufis are like fake doctors.
Mm.
They give wrong treatment and wrong medicine to their patients. They can't cure the patients. And now when the fake doctor is ill himself and getting sick, he is calling upon someone else?
Yeah.
Huh?
100%.
All his life he's telling everyone, call upon me, I will help you.
Yeah,
In the will of Allah, I will help you. Now he's telling me, brother, do dua for me, I'm dying. I can't help you, please help me. All your life, chuf, you were doing dumb on me, now you're telling me to do dumb on you? What's going on?
So the other thing is, like, where do these people, because often what you see, Hafiz Saab, is that these guys are rolling in money. They got Bentleys, they got whatever cars they have. They're driving. They have the best labas. They have the best houses. They throw big milads. They have shandar weddings, like Prince Harry and what's the other guy's name? Prince Charles and Prince Harry. Those guys who are in. They travel all over the world and stuff like that. They throw shandar weddings and this and that. And where are they getting this money from?
They're exploiting their murids, their followers, right? It's the simplest thing. I mean, if you can emotionally or psychologically manipulate someone, which is what they're doing on a grand scale, right? You tell me, why is it that when you see modern day Sufis, the closest murids are always the richest ones, and the ones that are the poorest are always sitting at the back?
Yeah.
Right?
It's true.
The ones who are rich only have one problem. Oh, Hazrat, do dua for me. I get more in my business. I get more richer.
Yeah.
Right? Because their so-called sheikh or pseudo sheikh knows that, oh, listen, if this guy gets more money, it's going to come more to me.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's happening. It's become like a gym membership when people sign up at like New Year's right now.
Right.
People will sign up for a bunch of, gym memberships right now, right? Thinking it's the craze. Oh, I need to get one. Right? But then how many times a year do they go to the gym? Right? Same thing. What happens with the sheikh? People give their bayah, right? And then they just send their monthly installment.
True.
Brother, like, your name is Sufi, as we said. You're supposed to wear a suf, okay? You're wearing a 3-piece suit, okay? Your murid has a banyan and a dhoti on. If you are so-called taking care of your murid, you should be giving him a 3-piece suit, and you should have been in your suf already, in your wool blanket.
Right.
But look how things are going back now. Look how jahalat is now.
Right.
You cannot even eat in the same plate as your murid that is poor. How are you going to take him to heaven?
Right.
He has so much umeed, expectations. Oh, my sheikh is going to save me from torment and stuff like this.
Yeah,
the jahalat that what people think what tasawwuf is about. But he's you gave him all your wealth already. You have your mother that you didn't give your money to as yet. You didn't give your father, you didn't give your paycheck to you yet. You didn't give your brother, your sister anything yet. You didn't give your neighbors anything who are Muslim anything yet. You didn't give your sister, your aunts who changed your diaper when they were younger. You know what I mean? And here you are giving this person like your paychecks for no apparent reason while your parents and your family is suffering.
Right.
And they need money. Who's more in need of money? That peer, that jahil, or your parents? Who's going to be more happy? As Allah is going to be more happy giving it to him who has, or your parents? Brothers, if you love to kiss the peer so much, kiss your mom and your dad.
Allahu Akbar.
Kiss your hand of your mother. Kiss your hand of your father. Kiss your feet of your mother. Okay?
Allahu Akbar.
Not even that. If you love to kiss so much, come into the masjid and do sujood and kiss the ground.
Yeah.
Kiss the masjid. Kiss the musnaf of the Quran.
Allahu Akbar.
You guys both lovey-dovey so much. Kiss the tasbih.
So we
kiss the walls on the mosque.
Allahu Akbar.
This is what Allah will probably be like, because you're loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What are you going to get out of that? By giving so much money in your donations to just a sheikh or a pir that is just swallowing your money and not doing nothing of it. And then the slap in the face, his glamorous banquets. Anji?
Of course.
His glamorous like Rolls Royce and all this. Huh? His children, his children's tuition is paid for. You can't even pay for your own child's education, right? And you paid for his education already.
Right.
Oh, that's my peer, that's my love, I want to. Why? Why are you doing that? What did he do?
Is this a tradition that has been followed in generations?
It is brainwashing, what Yahya has said already.
Yeah.
Is manipulation, is exploitation.
Is this proven from previous history? Yes or no?
Not to this extent.
Good.
This is
like feeding these guys money.
That's what I'm saying. It's a full-on operation to exploit people.
Yeah.
Listen, Buzurg Ahle Deens, when they were wandering Sufis, when they left everything for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu ta'ala an, he said, many years, months, I've wandered on the street. Whatever was left, I ate. Leaves that were on the water, I was eating that.
Of course. For
so many times to kill my ego. I was doing that. Whatever my ego was saying, I was doing the opposite of.
Right.
Ghaus Pak says.
Yeah.
This is Sultan al-Awliya, Ghaus al-Azim, Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, who left everything for being a wandering Sufi for many years. Okay. He acted as a poor. When someone sees a poor, you give.
Of course.
This is an act as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see humility too. This is part of your ego as well. If you did beg, you would give money. What type of begging is this though? Yeah. In the name of tasawwuf, when you have your house and a mansion already. Look at Makhdoom Pak.
MashaAllah.
Left the takht.
Of course.
Huh? He left his takht. He left his kingdom.
100%.
Our Makhdoom Pak left his kingdom. Wandered Sufi.
Yeah.
Majzoob.
So this feeding money to these people is not a practice of Islam.
It's a tradition that went wrong. It's gone overboard. Nazrana Hadiya, it's sadaqah for giving money. But brother, you have to see where you're giving this money to.
Right.
Is it necessary? Yes, you should give a limit for some of them who have institutes, who have khankai nizams that you want to give your hissa is a urs here to feed the poor.
Of course.
The maniyat is to feed the poor. You have an ulum. This is for, I want to pay for someone's tuition. Yeah. That a student that's going to your alum.
Well, this is
your scholarship. This is him. This is what I want to do. I want to give you money. So you know what they're doing. Have any of them built institutes yet? If any of them have built massages?
Right.
If any of them built anything, but they built houses around the world in your name, in the money's name. Everywhere that you go, in the UK, Canada, America, everywhere, Scotland, Norway, all of them. They have all these
we call it vacation
houses,
vacation homes.
Huh? And you are suffering over here. Yeah. And your parents are suffering over here. And you cannot even buy them a shirt and pants. But you're so brainwashed by giving these people certain things.
So we had some questions. That's why we had some questions that came up. So inshallah, I'm just going to throw that out there. We'll do one question because I want to go to another point into this as well. They want us to touch on covering religion versus tradition. Knowing when something isn't Islam, but our elders in family say it is. So we'll start with Hafiz Saab and then... what we're finding nowadays is Islam teaches us one thing. So you have the Sharia, you have the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, etc. But then you go to tradition.
Look, I want to explain this and Yahya will explain this further. There's something in the Sharia called uruf, okay, rasam, tradition, that's allowed in permissibility. Okay, we have to see that as well. Yeah. Okay, that's tradition as well. But how you don't want to go out of hand in context with tradition. The brother has to give us an example. Now, for example, marriages. I'll give you an example of marriages. Yahya, then you can explain as well because you're young, you go to these marriages too. I stopped going to these nikah marriages. Look what Islam has taught us. And look at these traditions that we're doing. And we're keeping the Hindu traditions that our ancestors had on us. And we all do it still. Dowry, jahez.
Wow, it's a joke.
These are traditions. Yeah. This has nothing to do with the Sharia. Right. You can give, but demanding is wrong.
Yeah. Officer?
Well, I'd say one tradition that's within the religion right now. First is the marriage that your brother said that it's gone totally overboard.
Yeah.
You know, people want to have you ask them, you want to have your fairy tale wedding, right? Well, you want it to look like a movie, right? You have a coordinated dances and entrances and like, you know, the whole 9 yards, right? Unnecessary waste of money,
Absolutely.
right? People in those 3 days or that weekend or whatever it is spend 50 to 100 grand.
Easy.
To entertain people who are just gonna go home and talk bad about you.
How come the Sufis don't say anything then? How come this? Where's your Sufiana then? They're the first ones that are eating biryani at the in the nikah ceremony. You seen it too, and you Sufi sahaba here. Sufi, you should just stop that.
Yeah.
You should be stopping these things.
But where's the Sharia there is my point. So the thing is that everything has a limit. Everything has, you teach Sharia. Your sheikh or your pir, who you're inviting to your nikah ceremony, is supposed to teach. He's your ustad. He's your teacher. He's whatever. He's your guide. He's supposed to teach the right way. But what do we see is that they want to see 7-course meal. They want a separate table or sat higher up than everybody, and then come in with a grand entrance. And that's what I said. Like what you said is bang on. People are renting out Lamborghinis and Audi R8s and all of this stuff, and made this a tradition rather than learn from what the Prophet ﷺ, when he married his beautiful daughter, Sayyidah Fatima Zahra radiallahu anha, to Sayyidina Ali radiallahu an. And it was completely simple. But where you take that $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, why don't you feed the poor?
And you're not just putting yourself in debt, you're putting your parents, you're putting your relatives, your family. People have to take second, third mortgages just to afford those 3 days, right? And goes back to what I just said, that those same people that you invite to your wedding, 500, 600,000, whatever, they're literally going to go home and talk about the quality of the food. Right. That's literally what happened. Oh, the biryani was good, but the mithai was bad.
Hadith Mubarak Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the least expensive wedding has the most barakah. Okay? So we're supposed to be doing it in modesty. But anyways, we're getting to tradition. Let's go back to our...
Go ahead. One other tradition. Mahfil Sama. What's it turned into?
I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to actually talk about it. So don't go into it yet. That was part of my second part of this whole discussion. I think this is Salman Ashrafi. My dear brother, Hafiz Salman from Blackburn, UK.
And the other one was, I know the other one's Rafi.
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. I don't see it. I just got told.
My younger brother.
Hafiz Bilal. But Hafiz Salman, Sallamahu. I love that brother from, he's our Ashrafi brother from Blackburn.
Alhamdulillah.
Anjumani Gharib Nawaz and Hazur Shaykh al-Islam wal Muslimeen's Facebook page. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless Hafiz Sahib. He has a question. What do you do what do you say about if peers are taking appointments for taweez and demanding money from murids?
No, listen, giving taweez is no problem. Demanding money is the issue.
Correct.
Okay? Listen, going to a Sufia directly, remember I told you it's a knowledge. Not everyone has this ilm. We need to understand tasawwuf. It's a science that not everyone will understand. So getting a taweez is not a problem. Booking appointments and collecting money from them, that's dangerous. This should have been voluntarily given to the public. You're helping someone. So why are you going to these rich houses and booking appointments and getting expensive nazrana from them by doing it? And you're claiming yourself to be a Sufi. Why can't they come to you? They should have came to you. Why are you going to their house?
And I want to talk about Hazur Shaykh al-Islam wal Muslimeen for a second. Hazur Shaykh al-Islam wal Muslimeen used to sit when people have taweez and because people have issues, people have problems and this and that, and they look for their sheikh to obviously help and become a wasila for them. Hazur Shaykh al-Islam used to write their taweez and stay up till past tahajjud, read their fajr, made sure that whoever came that day, they were given their taweez.
I've never seen a woman. I've never seen a ghair mahram. I've never seen a ghair mahram.
Never.
Our Shaykh al-Islam has never had, as an appointment base or whatever, what these pseudo-Sufis are doing, never met a ghair mahram.
Right.
Do you understand? So this should be an example. This is Shaykh al-Islam.
Of course.
Do you understand? But this is the importance of how he's caring for his murid. By one taweez, spending and doing tahajjud and seeing that we can't see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him, the ilm. You understand? This came, but this brother and these brothers are doing appointment based. Okay, what's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? You go, your knees hurting, your head's hurting, this and this. Okay, that's $100 each. You understand, brother? I have OHIP right now. I can go to the doctor right now and get that for free. Why am I coming to you?
And the tawiz isn't even specially written. It's photocopied and then
Yeah,
signed.
that's the other thing.
Right?
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
Pulling it out of their briefcases.
Very bad, very embarrassing. In the name of tasawwuf again, and it's a cult.
And this is how they're trapping their people to continue to get money.
When did you go to a doctor? You ever go to a doctor and then the doctor says to you, did ever you go to a doctor and go, you're healthy? Doctor will always tell you something before you leave, brother, something's wrong and you need to come back.
Your cholesterol's a little bit high.
Yeah, but just take care and then we'll see you back and we'll book you in next month to here. These Sufis do the same thing. Yeah, when you're after here, nothing is even wrong with you.
Yeah.
There's something behind you.
Yeah.
There's something around with you.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Oh, you have to come back again. And then the person, look, this is what manipulation. He's going to scare you to death. Look, brother, like, I don't know. I don't know what's behind me. I don't know what's scaring me. I don't know what this guy's talking about. I'm fear. You built fear in me already for a layman who doesn't know. Okay, there's a jinn. These are scary things, man. People don't know about these things, brother. And then if it's coming from a source, because you're pretending to be someone, okay, and you did your job by scaring someone already, so you built that fear already, and that brother's going to keep coming to you. Is that jinn gone? No, I still see him. So why don't you bring him in front of you? Let me talk to the jinn, brother. Let me see. I want to see this jinn that's in front of me that you see so much. Yeah. Can you bring him out? Yeah. Man, get out of here, man. Like, you're just a joke.
Some of these pseudo Sufis, they come to, like, for example, Toronto, where we're at, right? They'll have they have a target amount that they're going to want to raise or generate, right? They know before I leave, I got to get 30 grand, 50 grand out of these people, right?
Yeah.
So the more that, these people can bring into me, as many appointments as I can take, I'll take them all.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. But, so these are one of the groups, and we're going to come back to it because I want to get to the other part of the podcast. So this is one group, these pseudo Sufis that are messing up everything, and we're paying the penalty for it because people think, oh, you guys are the same people. The second is, and Hafiz Yahya talked about this, and I stopped him, Qawwals and Naat-Khans. These people disgust me. So let's talk about that.
Qawwali and the Naat-Khans right now are the biggest fitna in our society. Allah Hazrat in the Fatawa Razaviyah has said, in some places he said something else, in some places he said something else, but to kind of not to argue about the situation. Allah Hazrat said, Mefle Sama is for the Ahl.
Of course.
It's for the worthy. Of
course.
So now you look deeper now, Maulana Rum has said, who emphasized on Sama in Tariqah, he said, the one that does not miss his tahajjud namaz, subhanallah, is worthy of listening to sama. How many of us read our tahajjud namaz? Or how many of us who are in these going to these sama with these Sufis, how many of them are reading their tahajjud namaz?
How many of their sheikhs read tahajjud namaz?
Yeah. How many of them read the 5-time namaz? I know, I've seen, we've been in, alhamdulillah, we've seen a lot of things. And one of the things that we see is that sheikh or whatever won't wake up for Fajr Salah, but all night he's watching Pakistani dramas all night on their iPad and stuff. So you know what I mean? Like, you see that, right? You hear examples. People tell you and all these things and all of that. But Naat-Khans, they've made it a concert, right? So
if you look at the Christians and their gospels, when their choirs, what they're doing, and they're going crazy, and their reciters are just like they're doing whatever. That behavior is within us now even worse. Okay, and they're just chanting, and the crowd's going crazy. It's like, are we right now in a concert, or are we in a adab mahfil right now, where you would expect the respect of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is there? Okay, and knowing that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is listening to the mahfil, and then that is his utmost respect if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is present at the mahfil.
So here's my question.
Okay.
Would these people act like this if the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam?
That's the thing. So there's something called the rulings of the stage. We need to understand this is why the ulama have to be on the stage no matter what. If it's maflenat or even sama, if people who do listen to sama, I listen to sama, but not anymore. But there has to be a real learned person that can control the environment to see what's happening. Say, brother, you know what are you doing? Sit down. You're throwing money. That's not allowed. If you look at Data Sab in his chapter in Kashf al-Mahjub, there's a chapter of Sama. Read that, brothers. Read Sama. Read that chapter of Sama. And he said, you cannot even get up. You cannot even tell the Qawwal what to say or what not to say. There's so many rulings of it. What Data Sab has even said.
Right.
But look what we're doing. Like, the Qawwals are coming. The Qawwals are not even Sunni, first of all. The Naat Khans are not even Sunni anymore because the Kalam that they're reciting is not from the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah.
Right.
And that is one problem that we have. We have Rawafid that are infiltrating into Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah and Khusus in Sufism.
Right.
And that's why we're getting destroyed.
It's like your brother said, it's become a concert, right? Like
Joke.
people are just want to throw money and pretend they're in Wajd, right? They're not actually in Wajd, right? People don't understand the basic usul of sitting for sama. You have to sit by wudu,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You have to have wudu. It's an act of worship at the end of the day.
course.
You're using it to as a form of meditation, as a form of getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then your performers now, because they're not actual, qawwals or anything, they're the ones who, if you're taking your deen from them, look at their halat, right? Look at how they are personally,
Yeah.
right? They'll be smoking a cigarette, sometimes in the middle of the program.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen the videos, right?
100%.
I mean, you're taking your deen from these people at the end of the day, right? And the whole issue with pseudo-Sufism and the reason why we're in this, this hole is there's no sense of accountability, right? You look at doctors, there's a doctor's board. You have to get certified from there,
MashaAllah.
right? And they hold
Very
you
good.
accountable,
Very
right?
good
And
point.
you're always continuously learning.
Yeah.
Right? Same thing in my field, same thing in every other field, right? There's no sense of accountability. And in Ghospak Zaman or any of the awliya Zaman, right? All of them used to be interlinked.
Of course.
So they knew. And if one had to help the other one, there was always that. Right now it's just, no. You know what? Those guys, I don't agree with them on this point or whatever, or they don't agree with me. But, I have a business target.
Right.
I want to make, X amount of dollars for the end of the year.
Right.
Because that's what it's become.
That's exactly, you stole the words out of my mouth, is that this has become a business. Now, going into that, what is the right way? Like if I want to listen to, so now, because, these Nasheed artists, there was one that died on in a plane crash, forgot his name or whatever. But even someone like that, or people look up to them and they say, well, he's a great reciter, he's a great, so what is the characteristics? What do I label the person as? Like, this person is good. How do I identify someone to listen to, someone not to listen to?
So if he's not entertaining, he's not demanding any money, and he's not asking for fulfillment. He comes for the sake of the mahfil, and he leaves. Now it's your job, of course, as the intizamiyat, to take care of him in some parts. That's good. You see his modesty, humility. You see his character. Some of these Naat Khans come at the aruj of the mahfil. How many of these ones are going to come at the starting of the mahfil? There's a Wais Qadri is going to come in the beginning of the mahfil when Yahya and Hafiz Bilal and Umar are going to be doing the mic check?
No.
Is a Wais Qadri going to come then?
No, never.
A Wais Qadri is going to come at 11 o'clock at nighttime when it's aruj, when the mahfil is at peak.
Right.
And he's going to collect the money.
Right.
No, I'm going to call out people like that who are wrong too. Listen, we respect you as someone who's taking advantage of tasawwuf as well.
Right.
These brothers need to come and actually reflect on and have amal and act upon knowledge as well. Like Awais Qadri Sahib, he has knowledge. I respect him. There's no doubt. But brother, also you don't have control of the mahfil as well. You need to control the mahfil as well. Like, brother, stop throwing money. Stop doing all of that. When he came to the UK, if you looked at when he came to Al-Hikam, Imam Adil, he said, there'll be no throwing money here. There'll be nothing like that. This is haram for us. We're not going to be doing that. Do you understand that? And he always was watching him.
But that's what you mean by
but
controlling.
That is what Yahya was saying. Someone has to be
in authority.
In authority, holding accountability.
There's two things that I can say to that. Number one is that the Naat Khans, if you're not vetted by the ulama, don't start preaching.
True.
Right? Because that's what they do. They'll sing a naat or hamd or whatever it is for 5-10 minutes, then they'll talk for another 15-20 minutes thinking, you know, they're a grand scholar, right? You know, that's where that one who died in a plane crash went wrong, right? He went from more, reciting to more talking, right?
Brother, we're calling you as a Naat Khan to come to the Mehfil to help enhance Islam.
The love of
Rasulullah salatu wasalam. Someone like me or the council, we're not millionaire organization. We're doing khidmat. We're doing the khidmat of the deen.
Yeah.
We don't have all this money to throw away. Okay, Hazrat, can you come and recite? Because of you, people will have josh, people will have jazba, people will come back to the deen because God gifted you with a talent, which is your voice.
Yeah.
Bring back the deen maybe. Bring back the people who are lost.
Right.
Bring them back. Come on your own kharcha. You have millions of dollars already.
You go in the entire month of Ramadan, sit in a 5-star hotel in a suite at the top of the clock tower for the entire month of Ramadan with your family. So these guys are the biggest crooks in my eyes.
Yeah.
But then you have these people, modern, then they're making music videos and doing all these things, and they're modernizing nasheed and all of these things. What's our take on this?
They're normalizing it now. I think the term is normalizing. They're normalizing what they see in the Western world and then in religious part as well. What are you driving a Mercedes got to do with Rasulullah salatu wasalam? What are you coming out of the Mercedes and acting all this and that and pretending and having a hair all up there like that, and then you're reciting the kalam? What does that have to do with milad?
What does that have to do with?
What does that have to do with anything?
Even that, there's rules and principles for that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, nowadays you see all these artists from here, even in this part of the world, a Drake song will come out, they'll make a halal version of the same thing. With a music video and everything. The tune will be the same, they'll be dancing, and recently they've even gotten so-called ulama involved in their music videos, right? I mean,
but money talks, bro. End of the day, no one's gonna looking like this video and be like, oh, who are these guys talking about? You're gonna brush it off because you already have a fan base already. And that fan base that they have are illiterate idiots who don't know anything better, who have never been taught. So they're looking at these artists as their idols. And that's what they're gone wrong.
My thing is simple.
You cannot learn tariqah first, you have to learn sharia first.
Mashallah.
You have to learn sharia first, sweetheart, then get into tariqah.
Yeah.
Then you learn. Do you understand? But you can't get into tariqah and then you look like a fool. That's why the call of Hazrat Ali is.
Right.
You have to grow hair first in order to comb it.
Yeah.
It's the simplest thing, right?
Bro, these guys, my biggest thing is with these guys when they make it like a concert. I read a long time ago, and this is from the Christian tribe, or the religion. They said that the time of when Shaitan was there, what he used to do is he used to play a harp, right? This is them. I'm not saying about Muslim. I'm going to relate it to what we have gone into, is that use the harp to mesmerize, or what do you call it? Hypnotize. He used to hypnotize the people, right? By playing a harp and this and that. These guys are waving their hands in the air like they just don't care, and they're making people try to do all that.
What is slogan that we say in our mehfil every time now? Ali, 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 Ali. The whole mehfil, it'll be okay. As soon as Hazrat Ali's name will come up, it's like Ali, 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 and it's going crazy. What are we doing? You're disrespecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, firstly. That's Isme Garami of Hazrat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name is Ali.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the character of Hazrat Ali, where you're trying to portray Hazrat Ali and Murtaza.
My thing is,
what are you doing?
Would you sit in front of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, Sayyidina Ali, and all of the blessed, the righteous caliphs, and whoever they are, the blessed companions? Would you recite like this there? Your mouth wouldn't even open. But they don't have no fear of the akhirah.
Bro, this is how you know they have no knowledge, and you need the ulama to know the rulings of the stage before you go on. Khalas, done. There's nothing else. If he's demanding and he's dictating, be like, bro, assalamu alaikum, here you go.
Yeah.
Leave. That's it.
But our people are so blind that those performers will ask for thousands of dollars up front. And we happily, we open our pockets and say, yeah, here, take, no problem.
Take my mortgage.
We get stingy when it comes to, inviting a scholar over that might actually teach you something, right, for a day or two.
This is a true story. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's father, who's a ustad of the Qawwal of that time, he
Fateh.
came to the Khanka, our Khanka in Faisalabad. And what happened was he started demanding first. I needed this, I needed that, I need my own kitchen, meaning my own cook to cook. I need this much money first. Then I'm going to recite. This is Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's father. So after that, his demands were his thing was fulfilled. He got his food. He then there was time to give him the money. To give him the money, and then when he came on stage, they're like the sheikh said, "What are you doing?" Fateh Ali's like, "I'm going to perform." He goes, "No, you're done. You asked for the money already. You got your food. Get lost."
This is what you asked for
Yeah,
first.
this is Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's father. He did too. The sheikh in Faisalabad, they did this too, and it's in Tahriq. They did this. He was in awe. He's like, "No, please let me do it." He was biadab. These are the Sufiya. These were the Sufis. The real Sufis were ulama. He goes, they're not going to have a qawwal, I'm sorry to say with disrespect, overwrite them and tell them how it's going to be.
Right.
Okay?
So let's talk about the ulama now. Because often what we see now, these ulama consider themselves sheikhs and peers, etc. And now they are going astray. So they were someone that we looked up to, someone that we, learned from, someone who it was in the Muslim world thought of on a very high pedestal and stature. And now these people are turning, right? But their murids know, deep down inside, they know that these people are wrong and what they're saying. They're like, even they're like, what the heck is going on? What do we say? What do we say about these, and how do you gain the courage to leave these people who were telling the truth before and then completely 360 and went all over to the wrong side?
Listen, we need to understand that these people who are in Gaddi now, they're just human beings just like me and you. Yes, they may be knowledgeable. Yes, they may be mentors. They may have spirituality. But brother, shaitan is attacking them as much as they're attacking us as well. They slipped. Someone needs to tell them that, brother, you slipping. We need to hold you up. If he's still not listening, and he's not listening to the guidance of the ulama, and the majority is the jama'ah, you have to leave him. Right. That's it. Leave him, let him go. And it's not about courage and stuff like that. Brother, like, what does he have, a gun on you? And that's what I mean, the cultish behavior is like you leave him and their murids, your so-called peer bhais, who are your peer bhais, right, are going to come knock on your door now and beat you up. Where's that spirituality, love, and brotherhood then? Right? If a brother leaves you, he left you, brother. Like, it's no problem. I mean, so many murids leave so many sheikhs around the world. So why? That shows you that there is a cultish behavior. He's using you for something. Why does he need you?
Yeah. How about these peas? Sorry, I'm going a little off. It just came into my head, and I know Hafiz Sab, you have something to add. How about these peas or these so-called or whatever who have thousands and thousands and thousands of murids? You see them on stage and you see a big majma and everyone is becoming their murid. What do you say about this?
Look.
That question came up.
Look at this. In Tahriq, okay? And the brother who asked this, I want to logically tell you something. When you go pick up the murshid or anyone from the airport or who's coming to the mehfil with the majma, there will be always a lot of people with him or, a crowd. This is no matter what. How many of them are going to be with them when he's leaving? Very few. Meaning it's an illusion.
It's a show, yeah.
Okay, this is what I mean. They come at peak time. They're at the end. Obviously, people are going to get up and they're going to follow him because he's the special guest. He's the honor. He's going to come. But test him when how many people are going to go with him when he's leaving? No one. You don't even know. Why? Because you have food in your hand and you don't care because you love your food. You're eating your food and the peer is gone.
Right.
You don't care. It's all illusion, brother. It's not. It's all show business. Nothing like that.
How about this whole murid business? You're doing a big majma. Let's say there's 1,000 people in the majma, Hafiz Sab, and I know you had a point, so just go right into the point right after. And they're doing bet. Doesn't the sheikh supposed to know who his murid is?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that that's allowed, and you can, maybe there's too many people to become murid at once, right? But you should have the ability to have access to your sheikh whenever you require, right? Not appointment based, right? Not, only when he comes to my city. You should have contact with him directly, right? I'll give you an example. So Huzur Ghazi Millat is my sheikh, right?
MashaAllah.
He has millions of murids around the world,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, yes, with Hazrat's schedule, it's hard to contact him directly.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I don't have access to who? Huzur
Yeah.
Tajul Ulama,
Yeah.
right? Who handles
We can get
everything.
to him.
Exactly. Exactly. So I have direct access to him. So even if I need anything ruhani, anything spiritual, whatever it is, I have access at least to some form of my sheikh.
Yeah.
Right? So that should, at least you should have, okay, if your sheikh is too busy because he's preaching, he's doing everything, at least you should have access to the right people or the right resources within your group, right? Or within that tariqah, right? For you to be able to grow as a Muslim and a mu'min.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the thing. So fine, your sheikh can have millions of followers, millions of murids, but does every single murid have the same haqq when it comes to resources,
No.
or is it money talks?
Exactly. MashaAllah. So we're talking about these, what we were talking before, and where we got that question come through, was in regards to what has transpired over the years and how these people are manipulating the minds. So now these people who use their murids to kind of like you said, like beat up the other person who leaves the cult and this and that. We see that in like Freemasonry and the Ahmadis and stuff like that. So about that, what is it to say that individual, that sheikh or whatever, who goes off track, should we be following that person now because they've gone off track?
No, we shouldn't be following him at all. We should leave him to what he is. Brothers, listen, in Sharia, even if you don't have a sheikh, you're still going to go to heaven. I want to get this clear right now. Have your amal. Read your salah. Come to the masjid. This is another Sufi thing that I heard. Oh, like, I don't have to read my salah because my shaykh is there for me as well. And this and that. Sufi batein. Brother, read your salah. Do whatever you can. Even if there's no shaykh, I'm telling you this virally. Even if there's no shaykh that you cannot find, do iltijam Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani.
MashaAllah.
Just do iltija Ghaus Pak. Do iltija Khwaja Pak.
MashaAllah.
Do iltija. Just have just enough to say, Ghaus Pak, I'm your murid.
MashaAllah.
Just take me within you.
Right.
I cannot find a sheikh right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much fitna. I don't know what's happening. Ghaus al-Azam, I'm holding your daman. This much it will be enough. You don't have to search and go crazy because you don't know what's right for you. Yes, there are sheikhs there, brother. And I'm telling you, especially in some of the Khanwada in India, especially in the Ashrafiyya, but especially in the Arab world, there are there.
Of course.
Okay? Maybe we need to get out of our circle and go into another culture and find a sheikh there. So you will see the difference in tradition and culture, and then it'll open your mind.
Right. The other thing, don't use Google, don't use social media to find your sheikh, because you're not going to find your sheikh, right? You're going to find a jahil, right? Don't even use word of mouth. Go sit in the sohbah of that sheikh. Where does your heart feel comfortable, right? Is what that sheikh's preaching, is that right? Is that going to improve you, or is that going to break you, right? Because the Quran says that you will be raised on the day of judgment with those whom you followed. So now you're investing into your future, your akhirah. So you tell me, when you want to invest into something in this world, you're going to do your research.
100%.
You're going to check 100,000 times if you have to. You go visit that place. You go visit that representative, whatever it is, right? So why don't you do the same thing when it comes to sheikh? Just because your family has given bay'ah to one sheikh doesn't mean you have to give bay'ah to the same sheikh, right?
If there was a world war right now, I was asking right now, if Dajjal came right now, just look at your sheikh and be like, can this sheikh protect me? I want to know this. Is he able to fight?
Yeah.
You are the lover of Hazrat Ali. Hazrat Ali was the best warrior of the Sahabas, okay? The best example. Are you carrying that trait? Does he even know how to do when the time of war arises, or a time of some type of a time of fitna when it arises? Is he going to fight? Is he going to get up, or is he going to be eating roti there and sitting down? He's going to be with the job. No, don't worry, I'm with you today, bro. Don't worry. I don't know how to fight. You know what I mean? What are the three things Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said to teach your children? Archery, swimming, and horseback riding. Why? So when the time of war happens, brother, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Your time, you're ready for it. Hanji? These guys are so big and they can't even sit back on a horse now, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need a bull. They don't need a horse, bro. They can't fit on a horse, bro.
Elephant.
You know, yeah, bro. Like, it's bad, man. Look at all these traits. Is he like, honestly, is he the resemblance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in character? Is he like them? Sayyidina Umar al-Khattab says, a person who is of faith cannot be fat.
Yeah.
Cannot be obese.
Right. No, but that's the
And
thing.
look at the traits of these people, though. Like, you know what I mean? They're not taking care of themselves either. Like, even outwardly.
And that's the thing. The best example, we mentioned it so many times, the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. That person you're sitting with should remind you of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Not in that sense, meaning that when you sit with them, you talk to them, you listen to them, you should be like, wow, I want to get closer to the deen. But this guy, he's like 550 pounds, wearing 6XL, and he can't. Obviously, he's too hungry. That real tasawwuf is not this. Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu an, like my brother said, was eating leftovers that people threw in the garbage. Allahu Akbar. These people are being like, make me fresh biryani right now. And it has to be lamb. It can't even be chicken. It has to be lamb biryani and all of these things. But anyways, going on to the next point, because I know we're going over the 1 hour mark, but we're getting a lot of messages saying that keep it going. So we're going to try, inshallah, to continue. One of the things that came up was finding a sheikh. How do you know, like, how can I test my sheikh?
Brother, first you don't test. You look, well, what Yahya said. First you have to see, is he capable in Islamic knowledge first? Farad al-Ain, basic knowledge, firstly, okay? Does he know how to recite tilawat, imamat, khutbah? These are main factors of an imam.
Mm-hmm.
Can he draw a crowd? Is he reciting from the Quran? Is he giving narrations? Does he have knowledge of the Quran? Does he have knowledge of the ahadith mubarak? Okay? Then you go into spirituality, brothers. Then you look and sit down with him. And you said, you learn the sciences from him. Some things that you won't know that he's telling you. And this is how you find a real sheikh. You listen to his you come into his sohbah. In his environment, you see how he is utna, batana, up and down. You'll see about him. It takes a while. It's not like you're testing him. He knows too that you're here for this reason. He's getting you closer to the deen as well. His primary reason is to get you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. Some people come for khidmah just for this. Buzurgs, Hazrat Bayzid Bastami rahmatullah, him and his associates, Hazrat Bayzid Bastami, one day went out to look for a sheikh. Same story. And the associates of Hazrat Bayzid Bastami said there's a sheikh that lives 300 kilometers away. Remember, those days there's camels and horses only for transportation or walking. Horses are considered as cars back in the day. So finally they met their sheikh after weeks of walking. That sheikh was a sheikh that they met, because that time it was tasawwuf. Everything was tasawwuf that time. Hazrat Bayzid Bastami rahmatullah seen the sheikh spit in the direction of the qibla. Just spit. He didn't do anything that was ghair shari. He just spat in the direction of the Kaaba. He left. The associates with Hazrat Bayzid Bastami said, Bayzid, we came here after 2 weeks, coming from journeying this long. What's wrong with the sheikh? He said, if the person doesn't know even where the qibla is in the direction of the Kaaba and spitting in the direction of the Kaaba, how can he be a real sheikh? This is Bayzid Bastami. Now let's look at Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya rahmatullah alayh. Hazrat Nizamuddin Awliya always tilted his pagri, his turban, towards the Kaaba all the time. He was, my direction, my tawajjuh is with the Kaaba at all the times. These are the awliya.
MashaAllah. One of the things that come to mind, Imam Bukhari radiallahu an traveled far and wide to collect hadith. And he said, so-and-so has one, and so-and-so has one of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So he went on a journey. It took them a week to go to the person's house. He went to the person's house and he saw from afar that this person was spitting. Just spitting. Not knowing direction or anything, just spitting. He turned back and came back. So after a week, so now he's gone for 2 weeks. By the second week is over, he came and his companions said, "Ya Imam, did you come? What was the hadith that you got?" And he said, "I turned it away." He said, "You traveled this far, and how come you didn't come back with it?" He said, "Because that individual who can tell me a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, but he spits out of his mouth, he goes, I will not accept hadith from this person."
It's bad up.
Think about that. That's love for. He travel. He goes, I don't care about traveling and this and that. But that's what we find. Brother Adil, wa alaikum assalam, mentioned about groups that have a libas, a certain libas. You have to wear the certain libas. You have to wear a certain color. You have to wear a certain topi or uniform, as Brother Adil mentioned. Or example, same hat, clothing, whatever. You get the picture. And if you don't wear this, or if you don't blend in yourself, your outwards appearance, a person in the gathering or whatever feels like odd. So what do we say about this?
Look, majority of the people who are wearing one libas and one color because it represents a tariqah that they're in.
Ji.
And many of the tariqahs do that. It's some wear green, some wear orange, some wear red, some wear yellow. There's different ones to signify. And there's nothing wrong with that. What it is, it gets into cultish when you start telling them, listen, why aren't you wearing it then? But then that's what's wrong with the public nowadays. Brother, you're not a real murid if you're not wear the libas now. Well, you're not wearing the correct uniform that we're wearing now. Why does one have to wear a particular to signify, uniform to signify about what tariqah you're in? I'm in a tariqah. I'm not wearing a particular color. I don't have to wear a particular color to show that. On the urus, on the mahfil, when the sheikh is there to make him happy, I'm wearing it because he said, because he told to wear it, or it's a color to signify the dargah, the khanka, whatever it is. So it looks good to wear it, but to particularly to say that you have to wear this and you're not wearing this and people gang up on you is cultish. It's bad.
So there's a touching topic. I think that's good because then it's going to go into with certain people and so on and so forth.
It's good because some people you signify right away when you see someone wearing a libas, you're like, he's from
such
there.
Such.
That's good. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. It's good to know that, brother. We have a Sunni brother too. But to say particularly, hey bro, why aren't you wearing it now? You're being disrespectful to our sheikh and peer. Come on, brother.
A lot of times it's not even the sheikh that asks the murid.
They just do it.
It's those khalifas that are next in line or the gaddis, right? That want to show that, look, I have control over these guys, right? That's what it is a lot of times too. It's politics.
No, that's a thing. So our, advice to that.
And what it shows is what the murids are saying here. See, the murids are the problem too, right? Yeah. What Yahya is saying, the khalifas and the next in lines and the nigrans of each area and this for every tariqah we have this. Okay, what it does is it gives you that cultish behavior that my peer, not your peer. My peer is everything, not your peer. Bhaijan, it's every peer.
Yeah.
In Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, you have to love every peer. Yeah. What does Shaykh al-Islam say? Make as many uncles you can, but have one. Of course, your father is one, but make as much. What is he implying? Faiz.
Yeah.
Obtain faiz from them. But then you get the cultish behavior to say, no, my peer is bigger, only your peer is not this. Our organization is this, but your organization is that. We did a lot of work, but you're not like that. Already where you failed. Right. You already failed by opening your mouth like that, by jahalat. Ghurur and takabbur.
Right.
You're not even supposed to have that feeling.
Yeah.
What work did you do? Okay, Tika, brother, you built so many masjids around the world, you did all that, that's great. But just erring like that, what did you do? And defaming someone else and being with ghurur and takabbur is wrong, brother. It's cultish, right? Do your work, keep doing the work, brother.
The last thing, two things I want to talk about. So one is for Hafizab and one is for yourself. So I want to talk in regards to, we'll go to Hafizab first, is grave worshipping. Usually we get we get painted that picture that we're grave worshippers. What is the correct way? Like we could go to Dargah, that's proven by the Prophet ﷺ. He used to go to Jannatul Baqi all the time, make dua, etc. We know the hadith, they're not going to accept it. It's Sahih, it's in Bukhari, and it's in Muslim. But grave worshipping, what is the correct way of going to a Dargah?
The correct way to going to for going to a Dargah is it's really simple. The reason why you're going there, number one, is to present yourself. One. as Aqidat month, right? It was something you believe in. Number two is that if you have any iltija, any dua, any wish that you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the wasila of this person.
MashaAllah.
Right?
Don't pray to the grave.
We don't pray to the grave. I'm raising my hands up to Allah, not to the grave.
Yeah.
Right? And if you see someone, asking the grave directly, I'm sorry, that's totally out of line.
And how about sujood at the grave?
No. There's a big no. Even though there's some people who might
Sujood on the grave is haram. Having the niyat of doing the sujood and saying this is ghairullah, this is kufr.
Of course.
Okay?
Good.
You're not even
Good.
supposed to do sujood. It's haram. Not even touching the grave is haram. You're not supposed to do it. Chadar ko chumna, kiss the chadar, go on the side,
Make your dua.
make your dua, read your nawafil when you leave out. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Perfect.
it's simple.
It's a misconception, right?
Right.
People always call people grave worshippers. It's the people. People need to know.
But you see, here's the other thing. Back home, the dargahs aren't just limited to Muslim people.
True.
You have other sects, other religions that come there. They do their own practices.
Yeah.
Whether it's tying little knots on the gate and whatever,
Yeah.
you see all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then automatically it gets associated with us,
Yeah.
right? So that's one other thing too. You see people going crazy there. Some people, doing all sorts of, Yankee Doodle stuff,
No,
but
no, for sure.
it gets associated to us.
Yeah.
But then it's a problem again, right? We're back to the same point. We don't have that much time. It's the custodians of the dargahs who are in charge of the dargahs who are allowing this to happen.
Right.
Right? There's people going to the dargahs where husband and wife are going and doing photography at the garden of the dargahs there now. It's a tradition now.
Yeah.
They're doing these
Selfies.
things,
Selfies
right? They're
and
doing
stuff.
dage and putting the stuff and doing around. Like the custodian should be taking care of this. And once again, right, money talks, and we already spoke about this already.
So we just got to make sure that we don't go there and do something that is against Sharia.
Listen, we condemn all the actions.
100%.
We always did. The ulama always do. We are continuing to do so. It's just a heads up for these pseudo-Sufis to wake up. But they're not going to do it because they know Chanda is going to keep coming in. And that's the problem. And that's all it is. Right now, the biggest fitna right now is pseudo-Sufism.
And then lastly, and then we're going to go for closing remarks, is we emphasize on our peer, and we mentioned this, right? Our peer is this, our sheikh is this. So it turns into worshiping, because that's what it comes down to. Yo, my peer gave this. I was praying for a child. My peer gave it. My peer did this. My peer got me this job. My peer this. What do we say about this? And then the other thing is, so please cross this as well. You have pictures of your peer, you have pictures of your sheikh, and then you're actually standing there. We know people that actually stand there and make dua to the picture. So please touch on this.
It's cultish. It's haram. No pictures are allowed inside your masajid. No pictures are allowed inside your house. I apologize. And not even close inside the masajid. No pictures at all are allowed in your houses as well. So, hadith Mubarak again, the angels will not come into your house when there's pictures inside your house, right? So your sheikh's pictures there, it should be preserved. It should be respected. It should be in a nice area inside where it's hidden and closed out there. So, in the future, if you have to show someone, you can do ziyarah. Like, brother, here, this is my sheikh's picture. It's in a nice closet, nice place. Hidden in a veil. Very nice place, a picture of dargahs. Alhamdulillah, there's many pictures. It's good to have pictures of them for barakah. Keep it in a veil. Someone comes to you, can show them and peep it back and put it back inside into a place where it's veiled. But doing unnecessary actions like that, and brother, we don't want to get into that. And it's cultish, right? It's ghair shari.
But that's what it's come down to.
Right?
Is you worship your peer, don't worship Allah. Your peer gives you everything, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Lack of knowledge. They don't understand ilm. They don't understand Islam. It's pseudo-Sufi. You're supposed to come to the masjid, brother. And sisters should be praying at home, reading as much namaz they can at home as the men read at the mosque. This is, if you were real guided by a real sheikh, you will see this influence upon you. But we don't have this. Lack of knowledge.
You have something? How so? Okay, there was another one, last one, okay, because it keeps coming, I'm sorry. Is a video went viral. And the video was a lady sitting like this, and there was a gentleman sitting in front, and she called. I'm guessing she's the peer, which doesn't make sense to me. And she's hugging and she's kissing, and like a mother does to a son. What do we say about this?
Listen, there are lady waliyas in history. There has been.
Of course.
Okay, there's a famous waliya that's mentioned after the chapter of the Quran, Hazrat Maryam alayhi salam. There are waliyas, but look at her purity in Hazrat Maryam.
Of course.
Look at her chastity. Look at her purity, her respect that was given. You know, when the Yahud and the Bani Israel start accusing her, right away the angels have came down and condemned her. You understand? This is the respect of Hazrat Maryam. No one has seen her before.
MashaAllah.
In respect and in veil. Hazrat Bibi Pak Fatima Zahra radiallahu ta'ala anha, in the day of Qiyamah, it will be ordered to me and you to put your head down.
As the daughter of the Prophet.
As the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad is going. The angels are being ordered to put their head down. No one had seen even the ahchal. Ahchal in Urdu and Arabic means the libas, the garment of Hazrat Bibi Pak. Forget even about her body.
Subhanallah.
No one has even seen
what she wore.
Hazrat Bibi Pak.
Subhanallah.
Do you understand? Her janazah was at night. In the dark, so no one would see her.
Subhanallah.
You understand?
Subhanallah.
That lady, whatever she's doing, remember, as what Yahya said, there's a lot of infiltration.
Yeah.
We don't even know if they're Muslim. We don't even know we don't know what sect they are. Someone just says, oh, look, this is Sufism. We don't know. And then once again, brother, anything like that is ghair shari, right? A woman cannot meet a man like that, firstly. Stay away from people like that. Right when you see something like that, just exclude it and come into the real tasawwuf. Read the Quran. You love tasawwuf? Read the Quran. There's a lot of tasawwuf in the Quran.
They can't read it, unfortunately. So I know we went over the 1 hour mark, but alhamdulillah, it was a very good topic and good discussion, good eye-opener. So I'm going to turn it over to the both of you. We'll start with Hafiz up first. Closing remarks, summing it all up on your side.
Well, we've talked about all the problems with pseudo-Sufism and how it's a big, it's a big negative and it brings a bad name. And the easiest way, two things that you can do to kind of solve this problem, right? Number one is every single, the Pir, Sheikh, whatever it is, have them publicly audited, right? Have them certified. Right? There should be some central certification because not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can get up and say, you know, I'm a sheikh. You know what? Let's start my silsila right now. Right? Because that's what ends up happening today. Right? There's no sense of accountability. Number two, make their tax information public. I guarantee you. Do that and you'll see who's a real sheikh.
Wow. Because they won't chase the money.
Exactly.
They won't chase the dunya. They chase the deen, obviously, and stuff. How's it towards you? Closing remarks.
The Sufi Council of Toronto is based in Toronto. And whoever wants to come here and learn tasawwuf, please do come. And you'll learn ilm, you learn sharia first.
MashaAllah.
And then tariqah. Okay? We have a lot of people who opposed us in the beginning, but that shows the reality of our enemies, of who they were. They don't have a clue of tasawwuf. Sitting in your basement and doing little halaqas only once a month is not tasawwuf. Okay? Drumming your drum and just doing that is not just hazri. It's not just that. These things are mustahab. Some of these things are ghair shari even, depending on how you're doing it. Quran, obligatory.
Subhanallah.
Sunnah, mandatory. Necessary, wajib. Carry the traits of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam upon you. Become a mu'min. Learn the deen. Get closer. People are losing. Brother, we have so many people who are coming out of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah because of you, pseudo-Sufism. Because of you, you fake peas. Because of you, you jahils. They're gone into other masajids now. Because they've seen this. They're like, you know what is this? We don't understand. Why do we have to do Gyarvi? Why do we have to do Badvi? What is this? We don't even know what it means. No one's even told us about this. Sure. So when we go out in the public, and then we can't even explain this to the general public, we have no answers. So learn the Sharia first. Learn what you're doing. Get a hold of the ulama. Get in touch with the imam. Come into the Makkah Islamic Center. And that's what we're trying to do. We are not pseudo-Sufis. We're trying to be in the trade. We're trying to carry. We're trying. We're not even. We're carrying. We're trying to attempt to become like the Sahabas.
MashaAllah.
Like how they are. The characters. The characteristics of them. Okay? We're trying to gain knowledge every day by the ulama. That's what we're doing. And we're trying to propagate the deen. Okay? And if you were part of Tasawwuf, if you love Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, you would have built masjids, you would have built institutes, you would have built madarases, you would have built orphanages. So real Sufis, get up, the fake Sufis, it's still time. Wake up, it's okay. Get up, do raju, come to face the ulama, and exercise the faith and propagate the deen correctly. That's all it takes.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So once again, Jazakallah Hafiz Yahya, Janab Hazrat Amir Qadri Saab, thank you very much. I think it was a great discussion. Got a lot of messages while I was in the discussion. We had one left over, but inshallah next time. So I want to thank both of you for taking the time out and speaking about Sufi cults, and obviously something that is it's a necessity to talk about in our day and age. So Jazakallah once again. Over to the public. Thank you very much for joining episode 4 about Sufi cults. So we my last I guess ask is to please make sure that you go on YouTube at Mic'd Up 416. Please subscribe and like and share this video so people get obviously the right understanding and the right way. So it's building knowledge and gaining knowledge so people can understand the correct belief. So please do that. So share the video, go on YouTube, Mic'd Up 416, subscribe and hit the bell icon. That'd be greatly appreciated. I want to thank Ilm City, so Brother Hafiz Asif and the entire team for streaming this podcast live on their channel as well. And for those brothers and sisters who's watched from the UK and all over the world, for that matter, thank you very much. If you have any ideas or if you have any suggestions, we have a question and answer session coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. We got a lot of great episodes coming in in the next month. So please stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram, Mic'd Up 416, Sufi Council Toronto on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I think that's all of them. YouTube. So Sufi Council of Toronto, please make sure that you follow on that and put into the comments or message us via any of the social media platforms if you want us to discuss anything or if you have any questions that the panel can ask or the panels can answer, please do ask. Once again, thank you very much. And inshallah, we'll see you next Saturday at 7 p.m. Right here on the YouTube channel, Mic'd Up 416. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.